Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. In the last episode we met Michiru, a blonde-headed tsundere type character, although she wasn't really one, she was just playing pretend. Not sure why, kinda saw through her. And now we're gonna get to meet a new character, just behind these doors. Who could it be, I wonder? We'll find out right now. With that confirmation, I slowly open the door. Who's this? The moment I enter the classroom, tension fills the air. Behind a window seat desk in the middle of the classroom, a chair rattles as its occupant turns to face me. My immediate impression of the girl: she doesn't appear particularly friendly. Yo. While it might not be the most polite first greeting, I call it out casually as I approach in order to demonstrate my lack of malicious intent. This is Kake Yumiko, right? Her expression doesn't change. Sitting on the chair, absolutely stock still, she stares fixedly at me. I'm Kazami Yuji. I'm a new student here as of today. I come to a halt in front of her desk. So I'll be your classmate as well, it seems. Pulling out a chair from the desk in front of her, I sit down. At the moment, we're about to meet her apart. Nonetheless, the woman stares at me so tensely that she seems to be forgetting to breathe. Rather than staring, her expression could probably be more accurately described as glaring. I wasn't able to introduce myself in the morning. I heard you'd probably be around in the evening. I keep talking regardless, but no response is forthcoming. Maybe she's got a psychological problem with men, like Makina? But then again, she didn't try to run when I approached her. I changed my position on the seat to face her directly. Straddling the chair, I lean forward silently. Slightly, not silently. The motion has closed the 1 meter gap between us down to about 70 centimeters. I'd like to at least confirm your identity. Hey! As if to declare her refusal to acknowledge my existence, the woman stands from her seat and briskly moves to exit the classroom. How about at least responding to me? I follow her immediately. The woman opens the classroom's rear door just enough for one person to pass and tries to slip her way outside. Hey! Calling out again, I try to follow her through the gap. In that moment, the woman forcefully slams the door shut. She clearly closed it, knowing full well I was trying to follow. Her expression betrays surprise. Maybe she'd been expecting me to get my hand caught in the door or back off from having it slammed in my face. Instead, the door she'd attempted to slide closed. It's firmly held open by my hand, an outcome she apparently hadn't been prepared for. You could have broken my hand, you know that? Although she's the one who was trying to shatter my fingers, she's glaring at me like I'm the bad guy here. What exactly did I do to deserve this from someone I've just met? I'm just looking for an introduction. Opening the half-shut door, I take a step forward. She doesn't back down. Quite the greeting. I stop the motion of her hand about 5 centimeters before its target. It isn't the most efficient block, but for the purpose of diffusing her reckless hostility, an easily comprehensible action seems necessary. I was expecting something of the sort, but you favor the classic slap to the face, I see. Maintaining my grasp on the woman's wrist, I stare her down at short range. As for the woman, she's staring right back, her eyes open wide with shock, completely still. Well then, let me ask you again. The strong orange glow of the evening sun illuminates the classroom. Are you Sakaki Yumiko? Her expression, hostile as ever, the woman slowly opens her mouth. With an air of slight resignation, but clearly unwavering in her refusal of any relation with me, she speaks. Okay, good to meet you. As the evening sun fell behind a cloud, its light dimmed, and the classroom filled with shadow. With the sound of Yumiko's breath and the faint roar of the waves behind the walls. The curtain was raised on my normal student life. Well, how was that for an intro? I like that. That was very nice. Let's continue. The interval between classes, or recess, is fundamentally a time for lazing around. Given a half-assed 10-minute break, most people won't be able to put it to any real use. I myself imagined a school life along these relaxed lines. And was looking forward to spending some aimless time right around now. But... what? Again? Sorry, I had to let the cat out. Why? That slightly pitiful hope was shattered all too quickly. Of course, I'm not going to break a sweat from any attack of Yumiko's, but being slashed at with a blade isn't the kind of pleasant breather I had in mind. I guess she had thought it was a particularly well-timed attack, judging from the shocked gaze she's directing at me as she catches her breath. Of course, given that conspicuous clicking sound and her plainly audible footsteps, she might as well have been screaming, "Here I come!" But time moves at half speed in my immediate vicinity. Giving a straight answer would be a pain, so I pull something out of my ass. Yeah, I'm just screwing with you. Maybe it's just me, but I think trying to stab your classmate is somewhat worse. Yeah, and then what? What's the end goal here? This woman's copy of the criminal code seems to be missing the page of an attempted murder. But judging from the way she momentarily bought my nonsense, she's unexpectedly airheaded. Maybe a bit naive would be a nicer way to put it. Oh, believe me, I won't forget. There's only 6 of us here. It would be harder to forget. It's not. She's still glaring in my direction. Yumiko retracts the blade of her box cutter. And snorting in displeasure, leaves with a flutter of her skirt. When I return to the classroom, Amani strikes up a conversation. I guess the story of the knife assault in question has already spread around the classroom, as my problem with Yumiko seems to be common knowledge. It's not like she's doing me any harm, but I can't say I'm enjoying this. In our first encounter, I approached a stubbornly silent Yumiko in a physical sense. The outcome was her initial act of rejection. In part, that might have been the result of my own heightened wariness. Sachi's heavy-handed foreshadowing put me on guard, and I have the tendency not to trust someone I'm meeting for the first time. At that time, while I certainly felt animosity from her, it wasn't so intense as to discourage me from approaching. However, from our second encounter on, Yumiko bared open hostility toward me. What's worse, apparently having come to the conclusion that she wasn't a match for me barehanded, she's been swinging around a box cutter of all things. According to Mane, it seems that Yumiko has something of a habit of brandishing retractable knives at people. Of course, her goal is usually more intimidation than anything else, but speaking as the target this time, I can sense there's a part of her that's seriously trying to stab me. It's not the best feeling in the world.
ライバルとして認められたってことじゃないのかな。あの子、うちらには威嚇の意味で歯を出したりはするけど、本当に切りつけたりはしないし。
I'd really prefer to avoid that kind of recognition.
いきなり接近しようとするからよ。近寄ってわからなかった？あの子の周りに強烈に張られたバリア。
I didn't notice.
ユウジ君って強そうに見えるけど、鈍感さは命取りになりそうね。
I'm pretty perceptive when my life's in danger, but I don't really feel that level of threat from Yumiko.
ユウジ君って普通の恋愛とかはちゃんとできるの？
I don't care what you feel about my love life, quite frankly. My master did say I was expectantly unskilled in that department.
師匠？
Master? At any rate, I want to do something about Yumiko's aggressive rejection of me. For that purpose, I'll need to talk to someone familiar with her circumstances.
はいはい、ホームルームを始めるわよ。
With the attendance book in her hand as usual, our carefree principal appears. I guess Chizuru is the only one I can ask. In conclusion, Yumiko seems to hit me with a passion.
榊さんがどうかはともかく、あなたが嫌われる理由はよくわかるわ。
Oh, let's hear it.
ほうじゃないわよ。事情を知っていて暇そうなのは学園長ぐらいしかいないと思ったから聞きに来たって。わざわざ宣言して部屋に入ってくるとか何考えてるのよ。
Is this really pertinent to the conversation? I only said what I was thinking. Was I wrong?
違うわよ。一応。
Got it. Indifference to your feelings, no matter how much I think you're lazing around, I'll keep it quietly buried in my heart from now on. Good enough?
そんなこと言われたら疑心暗鬼になるだけでしょ。
What do you want from me? Spare me the vague complaints. What's your pleasure?
だから嫌われるのよ。
Do you have an idea?
なんでも。で、質問の答えだけど。
The principal, cup in hand, lowers herself across from the sofa I'm reclining on.
榊さんはこの学園の創設以来の学生なの。
This place just opened recently, right?
ほぼね。一応学園の設立は今から1年前ぐらいだから。彼女はその時からここにいるのよ。
I see. What does that have to do with her rejecting me? Before responding to my question, she takes a sip of the coffee from the cup in her hand.
自分のテリトリーに入ってくるのが怖いんでしょ。
Frightening.
そう。これまでは自分の認識できるものしかここには来なかったのに、いきなり異性の、それも得体の知れない人間が自分の近くに入り込んできた。
Principal Tachibana takes a pen in her empty hand and jabs it towards me to emphasize her point.
なので排除しようとした。ってことじゃないかしら。
So she wants to kill me? That seems awfully ridiculous. Hazing, is it? A bit of bullying comes with being a fresh recruit. But I didn't expect the same here.
いじめにしては、いじめられる側が強力すぎるけどね。
She's trying to kill me, ma'am. Apparently unconvinced by the idea of Sakaki stealing my lunch money, Principal Tachibana hides a snort of laughter behind her hand. Although it's certainly amusing considering the balance of our physical strength, I don't see how I can manage a decent student life at this rate. I'm honored to have provided a moment of amusement for our perpetually overworked principal, but I came here hoping to have a path towards overcoming this challenge illuminated by your educational guidance.
あなた、実は私をいじめる目的でここに来たんでしょ。
Cranky from beginning to end, ultimately the principal didn't provide me with any useful advice. This is what a school is like, so figure it out for yourself. A normal school life means a few problems like this. I do have to admit she managed to dodge the issue reasonably well with that last line. In any case, since she didn't have any clear answer for me, I'm left with no choice but to do as she says and try to work on this over time. That's adorable.
スパーリングみたいになってきたわね。
新兵を手のひらの上であしらう教官なのよさ。
最初はハラハラしましたけど、こうなってくると緊張感のかけらもないですよね。どうして
How do you keep the result of going with the flow? Because attacks have been continuing without any particular change to date.
ユージもしっかり相手しちゃうから。
What am I just supposed to stand here and just get stabbed? Oh, could you quit it already?
うるさい。
Her movement, thrown off by my sudden sidestep, Yumiko staggers forward unsteadily. She tries desperately to regain her balance, resulting in a ridiculous pose in strong contrast with her usual haughty demeanor. Michiru lets out an involuntary giggle at the spectacle. She instantly is pierced by Yumiko's furious glare.
ごめんなさい。弱っ。
Ignoring Michiru as she cowers behind her desk, Yumiko storms out of the classroom in a towering rage.
言っちゃった。このところずっとリプレイを見せられているようです。
怖かった。何よあの目。相変わらず人を凍えさせるのに十分な威力を持ってるわよ。チルチルにはきっと血の報復があるのよさ。ちょっとやめてよマキナ。お楽しみに。お楽しみにじゃねえ。
Seems like this one we're very familiar by now. With the exception of Michiru, everyone seems perfectly calm. Even if this little routine doesn't bother them, as a directly concerned party, it's problematic. Hey, Amane. In response to my call, she points to herself with her index finger, silently asking, Me? Why are you shaking? When I nod, she approaches in her usual pointlessly sexy way.
なにどうしたの？榊さんとの対戦格闘に疲れたから私の胸の中で安らぎたくなった？
Not exactly. Would you want that sort of sex worker style treatment?
ユージ君がそれを望むのならそういう日があってもいいかな？
I'm sure to keep that off her mind, but that's not what I need today.
は？なんなの？
You've known her, Yumiko, for a long time, right?
そりゃ確かに多少は他の子よりかは付き合いも長いけど。
Any ideas about the reason she's rejecting me this intensely?
ごめん、わからない。ああいう子でしょ？正直、事務的なこと以外に話す機会もあまりないのよね。
I see.
ユージ君も来たことだし、これから少しずつ話とかできればとは思うけど、今は私もほぼデフォルトに近い状態なのよね。
Certainly, Yumiko hardly seems the type to open up and reveal herself to someone just because they've known each other a while. I guess I'll have to find a solution myself after all. Thanks anyway, let me know if anything comes to mind. With those words, I move to exit the classroom. If Yumiko's rejection continues to take in this form, I'll have no choice but to ask the principal's advice again. If the woman opened the door and prepared to leave,
仲間意識かな。
I stop at the sound of Amane's voice.
ユージ君ってさ、よそから来た人じゃん？そういうとこ、あの子は異物感があって嫌なのかもね。
She's saying the same things as the principal, huh? Does it feel that way to you as well, Amane?
私はそんなことないわよ。ユウジ君を全力で支援しちゃうから。
It's a little hard to take that seriously given the flow of this conversation.
ユウジ君のこと、仲間だって思ったら戦いも終わるかもね。
I returned to the dorm and wandered the hallways without any particular objective. Compared to shutting myself up alone in my room, it's easier to gather my thoughts. One of the group, huh? I recall Amane's parting words. It's easy for her to say, but actually getting that kind of... But actually getting that island of a human being to recognize me as a friend seems next to impossible. First of all, we're not even on speaking terms yet. Oh, this late already? The sun is sinking below the window frame, casting shadows along the hall. About time for me to return to my room. Guess I'll try talking to her tomorrow. I scratch my head as I turn toward my bedroom. The sounds of my slippers echoes through roughly in the hallway. Yumiko might have her own set of internal rules, since she hasn't tried to attack me even once while inside the dorm. It's not that I was particularly off my guard as a result of that assumption. Rather, it was probably because it happened on this particular time of day. Or so I would reflect to myself later. And evening, a hallway in the dormitory lit by the setting sun. As a flashing of thrusting light, I react instinctively. Grab her arm firmly. With her arm captured, Yumiko's face stiffens. The box cutter, blade still extended, rattles around at her feet, turning in circles around the handle. Trying for the element of surprise. Yumiko's expression changes from shock to fear. That's what tips me off that I'm not wearing my peaceful face. Sorry, it was sudden, so I couldn't hold back. I didn't want to frighten her. I thought I could play the normal student. I wanted to convince myself that I could. Look, Yumiko. Still gripping her arm, I look into her eyes and speak. I'm not your enemy. Yumiko's expression betrays uncertainty for just a moment. But just as quickly, it settles back into her customary mask. But it doesn't look like you're convinced of that yet, so let me say one thing. Releasing her arm, I pick up the box cutter lying in front of her feet. Carefully retracting the blade, I hold it out to Yumiko. I won't cause you harm. I won't pry into your business. That's a promise, so stop this. It's pointless. Observe me and reach your own conclusions. If I'm lying, you can always try to stab me again. Stumbling, Yumiko retracts a single step. Bye. Turning around, I return to my room. Normally, Yumiko would see such a chance to attack, but something's different now. Her elongated shadow is still, and the hallway is silent, except for the small sound of her breathing. After that day, Yumiko's attacks came to an abrupt halt. The scenes of sudden violence disappeared from our classrooms and hallways. Although Amane barraged me with questions about the abrupt change, it wasn't really something I could talk about. I vaguely deflected her interest. If I can use this as an opportunity to slightly improve my relationship with Sakaki, it's very welcome from the perspective of my normal campus life. Yo. As usual, to call Yumiko's behavior when we came across each other curt would be an understatement. But at the very least, judging from the clearly different way she's looking at me, her observation period seems to be ongoing. Unless it's about my weakness, I'll answer. It's a shame. Come up with something else, please. She occasionally talks to me like this, but instead of friendly chats about our lunch plans, we have investigative inquiries and careful negotiations. Even so, I suppose it's a considerable improvement over outright bloodshed. Is that your idea of social interaction between classmates? Right then. I opened my hands in an exaggerated American-style shrug. Well, good luck to you, Yumiko. I think it's time to leave before she starts probing any further. Seems like she's hung up on that point after those events. I've been intentionally addressing Yumiko by her first name. The family name would actually be more appropriate here, but I've got a bit of a reason for doing this. Says the woman who's never referred to me as anything but you.
だからといっていきなり名前ってことはないでしょ。
So you're saying, as classmates, we should both use last names? Yumiko's expression clearly reads, "Oh crap."
なんであなたと同等の立場で呼び合わないと。
The starting point for building a cordial relationship?
だからといって。
Alright. In that case, I'll take our friendship to the next level by making up a pleasant nickname for you. You can do the same for... Might be a little early for that, so I propose starting with last names. Yumiko hesitates briefly, but before long she opens her mouth stiffly and in a tight voice.
よろしくね、風見くん。
After speaking those words with a cramped attempt at a smile, she stalks off. Yeah, best regards, Sakaki. Thus, after great hardship, I finally succeeded in establishing an absolute minimum level of communication with my 5th classmate. Seems this student life thing is pretty rough in its own way. Got cold or something today. When I push open the heavy glass doors, I find the lobby in utter silence. Exchanging my outdoor shoes for slippers I use in my room, I reach for the board hanging above the shoe racks and flip up the magnetic name tag reading Kazami Yuji from out to in. A glance at the other name tags reveals that Sakaki, Sashi, and Amani are all in, but there's no one in the lobby. They're probably shut up in the rooms doing homework. Hold on. There wasn't any homework assigned today, which would mean my hypothesis just now can't be accurate. Then what? When students set themselves up in the rooms, homework and masturbation are the only things that come to mind. Although I gave up the matter a little thought, I didn't plan on going around and confirming my new conjecture. It's just a guess, and no matter what sort of vile filth they're getting off to, that's their prerogative. In this case, pretending not to notice would be the kinder thing. Having reached that conclusion, I reached out to the door of my room, but in doing so, I noticed that the bit of tape I stuck in my door as the seal has been ripped off. Someone's in the room. Backing away from the door for a moment, I quietly press my ear against the wall, but I can't hear any noises from inside. It doesn't seem like a typhoon is laying waste to a room in my absence, but either way, if it's someone stupid enough to
Yuji-kun.
What?
君、なんだか妙に女慣れしてるよね。
Well, I did have one.
いたって、今はいないの？
She's dead.
そっか、ごめんね。無神経なこと聞いて。
It's been years, not a problem.
じゃあさ、無神経ついでにもう一つ聞いてもいい？
What?
お姉さんの名前は？
Kazuki.
和樹？
I know, kind of a weird name for a girl. It's actually written with the characters for one and princess.
珍しい名前だね。
Why do you ask?
別に、ただの興味本位。
I see. My sister is a topic I'd prefer to avoid as much as possible. Not because it's too painful to remember her death, or anything sentimental like that, I just don't want to get in a heavy mood for no good reason. Maybe Amane picked up my rejection since she doesn't ask anything else about the subject. Although she's a troublesome, selfish woman, I can honestly appreciate that part of her.
お待たせ。着替え終わったよ。
I wasn't really waiting.
どう？似合う？
Now that I look, Amani's wearing a pointlessly skimpy outfit. Even if it is summer, this is a bit over the top. Too much exposure, your breasts are barely staying in that thing.
ああ、いいのいいの。せっかくいいの持ってんだから、半分ぐらいちらつかせておかないと損じゃん。
Waste of resources?
この格好で商店街に買い物に行くと、なぜかみんなサービスしてくれるのよね。
This woman's trying to disrupt the economy of the shopping district via her tits.
あーって何よ。
Nothing at all. If you're done, hurry up and go. The dirty old men of the shopping districts are clutching their 20s in anticipation.
そうだね。そんじゃあ行こうか。
Since I cut out the part, he walked in his room and basically she was naked changing, so I couldn't obviously show that. So nothing much happened really. Just, it was like, hey, what are you doing in here? Why are you in my changing room? Oh, I'd always change in here, yada yada yada. Despite her having her own room, she doesn't want to go up the second floor to change because she finds that's too much work. As she speaks, Samani grabs my arm like a border patrol agent seizing an illegal immigrant from Mexico. What are you trying to pull? Get off. Shop? Why do I have to come? Even if you don't rope me into this, with that huge body, 10 kilos should be an issue. Or so I thought, but courteously didn't put it into words. We are dealing with a woman here, technically speaking. In the first place, she's only large for a woman. I'm 5 or 6 centimeters taller. I guess Amani's gotten sick of me staring at her silently, and she jerks me closer by the arm she's grasping. I don't remember asking to see your breasts. This woman's logic is completely incoherent. Maybe it's just me, but isn't it roughly equivalent to the way the Gestapo would arbitrarily execute Jews and then send their family bill for disposing of the corpse? If you think a flash of your tits will make any man do your bidding, you've got another thing coming. When you got a physique like that, I think it's probably inevitable. Oh goodness. As she speaks, Amani entwines herself around my arm, pushing her famous breasts onto me. Hey. The fact that I just spent a good second thinking about anti-helicopter mines is, frankly, completely ridiculous. But the world has been seeming like an extremely ridiculous place recently. No point getting too down on myself. Fine, you don't seem to carry the rice, right? I've heard it's better not to be loved by God or big women if you want a long life. Just a joke. Let's get going. Get going indeed. I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to see you all in the next part. So, take it easy.